Thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me today.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
I just have a couple of questions. I
Sure.
think the biggest one is, how has the McDougall program changed your life?
Oh my God. Well, I don't believe I have a heart condition anymore. I don't care what, you know, you know, I can do more things now than I was doing during the medical treatment after my heart attack. The biggest thing is that I was obese, all those years doing everything my doctor said. And and I was always a walker, but because I was so heavy, I couldn't walk more than a mile, maybe. Now I hike, and in fact, I now live in the Southwest, so I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico, ideal hiking country, and I'm conditioning myself for because I'm joining a hiking group. I would never have been able to do that before McDougall. As I said, doing everything my doctor told me to do, and taking all those pills, eating the skinless chicken and the fish and the healthy olive oil. Um, and it didn't work um, until I found out about Dr. McDougall. So I've had 5 years of nothing but absolute bliss. The year, however, I started the program 5 years ago on the website, but it was really the online program that catapulted me because I didn't know certain things, particularly the calorie density, which I had
That's a
gained.
big one.
It is, I mean, literally, it is a big one because that is huge. And I love Jeff Novick. I love his recipes. I just made another one of his recipes. My freezer's full of them. I have no problem at all with this food, with organizing it. I think I'm just so motivated because this is what I needed in my life, to have a really credible, science-based, uh, factual way of approaching health. In my 20s, I started looking for going out of the regular health system. And except for homeopathic, I really never found anything. I became very, very antagonistic towards our health system because it just wasn't working. And it took me, and I'm 75 now, which is your dad is 75 too.
Yeah.
And it just took me that long to finally find the right health combination. And
It's never too late, right?
it is never too late. I'm at my goal weight. Dr. Lynn has been really great. Tiffany, I've stayed at my goal weight. I haven't gone above it because I don't want to. And I know people struggle with it, so I don't want to undermine that. I don't struggle with it. And understand myself as to why I don't. And I'm trying to be very sensitive to people because there's that keep in touch group that I still connect with from our February 2021 group. And so, in fact, tonight is our Thursday night meeting. And I'm the only one in that group that has reached goal and has maintained it. And I've maintained it since August.
That's great.
And so it's nice because I share with them what I do, how I do it. And
So what do you do? I want to know. How are you so successful?
Because the program, first of all, I don't fight with the food. I find the food very, very satisfying, very delicious because I love the taste of fresh food because it's real food. Standard American diet is not real food, it's very artificial. And so I like the taste of fruits and vegetables. And I really use I don't use things to cover up the flavor. In other words, I'll steam, or I usually microwave vegetables whether they're fresh or frozen. And I do use salt. And a little bit of salt, but I now use it because of hydration issues. I don't get too much into that, but I started to get dehydrated, moving from a very humid climate to a very dry. And so I started to put salt on more regularly now because of that, and also drinking a lot more water. But my point is that when I make my vegetables, I don't put anything on them. I just like the way they taste. I just really like the way it tastes. I really do. I stick with the basic. I have two starches that I love the most, and that's potatoes and rice. And I like to put corn on the side. And I always have them cooked up. They're always available, the potatoes and rice. And I just put vegetables around it. And when I want to get into recipes, I do Jeff Knows It. And I do your mom's, particularly the quick and easy. I love quick and easy. I don't want to mess with blenders and chop. Well, chopping, of course, is part of it. I just like the flavors that are very simple. So this is what I told people. I make it real simple. I starch the vegetable, that's all. Starch the vegetable and sprinkle some fruits in there, and it works for me. It just really works. I don't agonize over food.
I think that's key, just keeping it simple and just accepting that this is your food and enjoying it.
This is my life. This is what's keeping me healthy. This is what's making me vibrant. This is why I can walk 9 miles. This is why I can hike up inclines. I live at 5,200 feet, and the Sandias, which is only 4 miles away from me, has an elevation of 11,000 feet. And I haven't walked it yet because I'm conditioning myself because of all the climate change, the temperature changes and vegetation changes that take place because it's very cold as you go up. But I am conditioning myself for it because that is a goal that I have, to actually hike that, which is called the Pinot Trail, and hike it completely up to the crest. But I know I can do it because my heart's not the problem. My weight is great, and the food is great. It's keeping me healthy.
And that's something you could have never imagined doing a few years ago, right?
No, I couldn't, because I couldn't find the right health outlet. All the health information about food was the traditional health information, and doctors were just not talking about food that's really healthy, other than take the skin off the chicken routine. And then it was, I think it was What the Health, or one of those videos. I can't remember which one of them, but then I saw it. My God, the food is different than what I've been eating. That's, it was one of those videos where Dr. McDougall was being interviewed, and I just grabbed onto it, and it's been. I'm very low income, Heather. I communicate that to you, and so this food is very affordable because I don't go into the exotic foods. I can't. I just really don't care for it. I just want the very basic foods. I don't need to shop at Whole Foods. I go to the local supermarket, or and I don't have a car, so the supermarket that I go to is another half a mile away from Whole Foods. If I really need to go to Whole Foods, I'll go there. But it has a produce department, and it's got organic, and it's got the regular, and it's pretty well stocked, and I can work with that.
Nice.
I just don't get into all this ordering stuff online and exotic things, and it's very, very basic.
And you don't have to, right? I mean,
Yeah. Food comes from Mother Earth.
not in a box, right?
Right. Where it comes from Mother Earth. Where the rice is in a package.
Well, what would you say to someone that's on the fence about signing up for the McDougall program? I mean, I know it was a huge commitment for you.
I think the thing is that this is a matter of life and death, and it is a life and death situation. If you take cigarette smoking, people smoke cigarettes, they still smoke today, a lot less than they used to. And they know the risks, but they still smoke. And in this type of food, it's a very similar situation because cigarette smoking, alcohol are addictions, but so is the standard American diet. There's a reverse role though. In cigarettes and alcohol, everybody else, no, I'm sorry, the person who has problems with alcohol and the person addicted to cigarettes is in the minority, and the majority are not. This is reversed now because those of us on the McDougall program are the majority, are the minority, and everybody else around us is the addicted one. In that perspective, it's what helps me understand why so many people have difficulty with this food. It's not the program, it's the food. They can't transition to this food because it doesn't have that high, what Dr. Weil how he talks about the pleasure trap.
Oh, the hyper palatable foods.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, it's oversensitized the system. You just crave it. That's the problem, which addiction is. It's a craving, which is why I think when people can't get off the cigarettes or addicted to alcohol, they're craving it, and in that situation, Heather, I see the McDougall program as a program of transformation because you have to. No addiction you can't just will it away or just mentally say, I'm not going to do this anymore. You really have to work at it. This is what I say to people, a lot of the emphasis is on the food, but it isn't the food that the issue is with. It's your behavior, it's your culture, your identity with the culture. Dr. Weil talks about the social implications, because socially people are used to, everybody eats the foods that you're getting away from. And if you don't have something to that's a little deeper than trying to mentally get transition, you've got to do something that's at a much deeper level. I don't know if I'm getting too deep with it.
No, it's great.
It's kind of like the way the most successful addiction program to what I believe is the Alcoholics Anonymous AA. And of course, there's been a whole stream of addiction programs attached to the same principles of AA as the spiritual program.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really rest with, tomorrow I'm just going to go eat these foods. I don't think it works that way. I think you have to get to a different level of thinking, different way of perceiving things. And that means you do have to deal with your own behavior. You do have to deal with a culture that is invested in very unhealthy food. It's constantly being thrown at us. So the contradictions are huge. They're just,
It's a huge disconnect. I mean, I notice it all the time. It's tough, and we're made to feel like we're crazy for choosing these foods.
Well, I think it's because people can't get off of the food, and they can't imagine because they don't think about it that the food that they're eating isn't healthy. To some extent they do know it's not healthy. I mean, Dr. Weil can speak to that a lot better than I can, but that is such a huge part of this. That's why I call this a program of transformation. And one of the things I like so much about Dr. Lim, I really love him, is that he gets into the spirituality part of it. And I think that is really an important piece, very important piece. People have to stop focusing on the food and focusing on themselves and their relationship with that food.
Yep.
but it's the best food in the world. This food has not done any damage to me whatsoever. I mean, it hasn't done any damage.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you.